An explosion of creative innovation, an arena to compete, excel, and prove. Everything here begins with an idea. Idea provokes imagination. Imagination thrives for improvement, and those together with proper implementation makes a dynamic success. A very good morning to one and all present here. I, Tejaswini Balaji, Professor, Department of Commerce, take immense pleasure in welcoming our chief guest, our Pro VC, our guest of honor, Dean, HODs, external members, our coordinators, faculty members, and dear students to one of its kind event, Fintech Conclave, organized by School of Business, St. Joseph's University, in collaboration with State Bank of India, Bengaluru. Prayer is a window to opportunity, a door to miracle, a channel for blessings, and a path for a successful event. I now invite St. Joseph's University choir team for the invocation song. Thank you, SJU choir team. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritangamaya, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. It is now time to remove darkness and lead us to knowledge by lighting the lamp to invoke the blessings of Almighty. I now request all the dignitaries to light the lamp to mark the beginning of this event. Thank you, dignitaries. I now request Dr. Kanishka, convener of Fintech Conclave, to welcome the gathering.
Cheerful good morning and welcome to all the stakeholders for Fintech 2023. I think the School of Business can do better. Can we have a little more thunderous round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? School of Business as always known for its creative, innovative, and a kind of a catalyst approach in everything what it conceptualizes, designs, develops, implements, and validates. Fintech is one such vision, a collaborative vision between the School of Business, St. Joseph's University, and State Bank of India, one of the largest bankers in India, Asia, and the top 500 in the world. I, Dr. Kanishka, faculty coordinator, shift 3 for the department management, is honored to welcome all the stakeholders for this very innovative mission. And we are aware that historical business research has a very clear proven record that governance, leadership, administration, and management is always made the business and non-business organization the best of its class. And we have learned that these 4 components are the benchmarking elements. And today I'm honored to welcome and acknowledge the governance, leadership, management, and administration stakeholders, collaborative stakeholders on this very august occasion. On behalf of the Chancellor, Vice Chancellors, Pro-Chancellors, Registrars, Deans, Heads of the Department, staff, and the stars of the School of Business U, I heartily welcome the General Manager, S. Radhakrishnan, the Chief Guest of today's occasion, who is representing the State Bank of India, Bengaluru, Karnataka, for having consented this occasion and made it. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Radhakrishnan. I request our Pro-Vice Chancellor, Dr. Regina Mathis, to welcome Sir with a sampling. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a bigger round of applause? Heartily welcome, sir. There's one thing which I would like to mention about Radhakrishnan. With over 25 years of banking, there's one thing I've seen with him is humility and attitude to serve the stakeholders with grace and love. And once more, mark these words, students, and we need to learn from these veterans to imbibe in our personalities as we take our careers. Once more, welcome, sir. We have with us a very well-learned, traveled widely across India and the world. We call him as a multifaceted personality in the banking sectors, and State Bank of India looks up to him. The DGM, Deputy General Manager, and the Community Development Officer, Mr. Alok Kumar Dwivedi, the guest of honor. So we actually welcome on behalf of all the stakeholders, I request our Dean, Christos Selvin sir, to welcome sir with a round of applause. I would like to mention few important experiences with Mr. Alok. My dear students have interactions over 5 times to conceptualize this event. And let me place in record, despite of his 14 to 16 hours of work every day, Monday to Sunday, and he was extremely calm, composed, and added a lot of creativity with conviction to ensure this program realizes, sustains, and we wanted to further grow leaps and bounds. Let us once more welcome him, Mr. Dwivedi sir, for this very good occasion. Students, can we have one more round of applause? In a special way, let me welcome all the SBI officials to mention the CGM, who's instrumental in accepting our offer, and likewise all the general managers, deputy general managers, assistant general managers, and the staff were instrumental, ladies and gentlemen, to institute this program. Let us clap for the SPA once. We have a very important person, Brian, behind this particular program, who are associated with St. Joseph institutions for over 10 years. He is Mr. S.K. Srinivas, a retired former chief manager and holding different portfolios in SBI Office Association. He was a brain behind facilitating, negotiating, and he is also one of the visiting professors of St. Joseph's MBA training program. He is with us. I request sir to kindly stand up. Students, can we clap for sir and all the students? We actually welcome you, sir. And as I told at the beginning of it, the governance, the leadership, administrative and management team, and my dear students, it's extremely important. These personalities are the value adders. In the absentia, let me welcome the Vice Chancellor, Pro Chancellor, the administrators, registrars who are attending a very important academic council meeting. Let us welcome in their absentia. Can we have a round of applause, please? And we have a very important personality who is representing the top officers of the university. We have Dr. Regina Matthias, the Pro Vice Chancellor, HAU. Ma'am, we welcome you, and I request Mr. Mohammad Umair to welcome ma'am with a memento. Can we have a round of applause? I think so there's, let's see our continuation. And so beautiful flowers happening. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Well, let me welcome all the 4 important leaders of the School of Business. Let me welcome our Dean, Dr. Christos Selvin, for his charismatic leadership. I said a charismatic leadership, so you require a little bigger round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We are head of the department. When I compliment the Dean, charismatic, and I would say our head of the Department of Commerce, Ms. Amita Pradeshna, dynamic and energetic. We have Ms. Saradan, very quiet but yet very committed and conviction leader. Welcome you, man. We have last and the most important, Mr. Mohammed Umair. What should I call him? A quiz master, excellent orator, communicator, and excellent creative and innovator. Welcome you, sir. Last and the most important, the stars of SJU and the schools of business. That's you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to you. And I remember this quote quite often, and it has not lost its shine and value. Coming together is building, working together is growing, staying together is success. I remain, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that warm welcome address. It is now time to invite one of the masterminds behind this massive and innovative event to introduce the program. I now call Professor Umair, convener of Fintech Conclave, to take over.
Good morning to all of you. I just want to reflect upon certain thoughts as to how fintech has changed our life, because any technology that doesn't touch us life cannot be a disruptive technology. So when we do a comparison of the so-called concept of cashless, how things have changed, how the society's interpretation has changed. 30 years back, when somebody said he does not have cash, 30 years back, society had two interpretations. Interpretation number one, that he has a girlfriend. Interpretation number two, that he is a married guy, and that's the reason he's not having any cash. But now the interpretation of not having cash has totally changed. Now when you say you don't have cash, that means you have too much of cash in your wallets. Digital wallets, of course. So, of course, the penetration that has caused, various factors are responsible, but one of the factors that drove the cashless economy was demonetization. And of course, there is always a debate whether demonetization has done good or has it done bad. And you being intellects, you know what demonetization has done. But one thing good it has done, that it has paved way for digital economy. Barring all the bad things it has done to the economy, this is the one good thing that has happened. And these days, cashless payments have become so popular that even recently I had been to Mosque Road for food festival, and I saw one beggar with the UPI code with a message, "Be kind enough during the month of Ramzan." So that's how digital disruption has been caused by the fintech industry, which you are very much aware. And fintech is not just about digital payments and digital wallets, which we guys are familiar with. Fintech has so many elements attached to it, right? Now, let's talk about insurance, how fintech has changed the insurance landscape. I remember going with my dad to Matikere because he wanted to buy an insurance at that time. And I had to spend 6 to 7 hours with him because he had to do a lot of medical tests and all that. But now, on account of AI, things have changed. You can buy insurance policy in a matter of just 5 to 10 minutes. All you have to do is give some key inputs and the algorithm automatically analyzes your profile. So I have to just put in my profile, whether I'm married or not, what is my income, what is my profession, what are the bad and good habits I have, and automatically algorithm prepares my profile and gives me the quote. So that's how quickly now you can buy an insurance policy, and thanks to the technology, right? So everything is quick. And since most of you are using vehicles, the way insurance will be sold in the future will be different. Now most of you are using smart electric scooters like Ola, right? Ola collects the data, the way you drive, the way you ride vehicle, it analyzes how bad is your riding. In the background, data is being analyzed. You don't know, but in the background, that analysis is going on. In the future, this analysis, Ola will share with insurance company. So depending on your driving habit, whether you're a good driver, bad driver, or a disastrous driver, the insurance company will give you a quote, depending on your riding profile. So this will be the future. It is not there now, but that will be the future. That will be the future of insurance. That's how tech companies will collaborate with various other companies. So Internet of Things will play an instrumental role. So how much insurance you will pay, that depends on your driving habits. So that will be the future. So look at how disruption is happening on account of technological advancements. In fact, whenever we used to buy things in the supermarkets, especially in these kirana stores, we always didn't like one thing what these vendors used to do. They used to give us candies instead of change. And I remember one clip of Nana Patekar. He goes to a shopping center and the supermarket guy gives him chocolates. He returns the chocolate and gives his chappal. You take this as a payment. So all these problems are solved now. In fact, surprisingly, the candy industry is being affected because of UPI payments. The candy industry is affected. So look at how disruption is being caused is the point what I wanted to tell you guys. And now you don't need to have a credit card to buy things on credit. A new concept has emerged called as BNPL, buy now, pay later. If you give cash, no discount. If you opt for buy now, pay later, 10% discount. So even the marketers wants you to buy on credit, right? So accessibility to credit has improved, and this has tremendously given growth to the fast-moving consumer goods industry, electronics, right? So whenever any festival comes, even if you don't have money yet, we are capable of buying anything. Because this buy now, pay later gives us the so-called purchasing power, even if you don't have money also. That's not an issue. Still you can make purchases, right? And then you also have robo-advisors. Because some of the finance students who are seated here, they always used to ask me a question that despite of Indian economy's terrible performance in the last few years, why stock market is doing well? Because we teach them in the fundamental analysis. The performance of the economy is linked with the performance of the stock market. But in India, things are going in opposite direction. Economy is going down, stock market is going up. So what's the reason behind this? The reason behind this again, the fintech firms. When I opened my first Demat account in second year BCom, it took a week for me to get it activated. And the form was 16 pages. I was confused to fill the form. But now what has happened? New age tech companies, the fintech companies, has completely revolutionized these stock trading platforms. Whether it is 5 paise, whether it is growth, or whether it is small case, so many tech companies have come. These are the disruptors. Now everybody has a Demat account, because of which there is a tremendous increase in the retail investors in the stock market, because of which the volume is going up. So these are some of the disruptions that has been caused by the fintech firms. So what is this fintech? In my language, fintech is the marriage between conventional, traditional banking and financial services industry and the new tech firm, new age companies, new age tech companies. It's a marriage between both, which is creating strides in the finance sector. So these fintech companies are making much more easier for consumers to access financial services. If you have Cred app in your mobile phone, Cred app has a logarithm that runs in the background which you don't know. Because the moment you download that, what do? Accept all. That's it. Anybody reads the conditions? Nobody does it. But in case if anybody is having sleeping disorder, you will read those conditions, you will get sleep. Right? So nobody reads it. But in the background, you're giving access to everything. So what happens if I have Cred app in my phone? It is reading my emails, it is reading my SMS. The moment my bank balance becomes zero, Cred app automatically offers me a loan. So look at the AI behind it. It automatically gives me a loan. It tells me to take a loan because my balance is low. So that's how things are working. So just to give you some statistics, India's fintech industry market was valued at $50 billion in the year 2021. and in the year 2025, it is estimated to reach $150 billion. So look at the kind of growth it is moving towards. Last year, 17 billion transactions were made through UPI in 2022. 17 billion surpasses the population of Australia and entire Europe put together. So you Indians are creating records when it comes to UPI payments. And India has the second highest global fintech adoption rate in the world. So all factors are favoring us, but yet there are challenges. Some of the challenges are pertaining to regulatory mechanism, right? So understanding of regulatory requirements is not complete. The second challenge is the managing burn rate is an emerging key issue for Indian fintech, because Indian fintechs like Paytm and PhonePe, they have grown leaps and bounds, and they're doing so by giving you offers and discounts. So in a process, they're not making profit. So this remains a challenge for India's fintech firms. So in today's session, what will happen is many important aspects of fintech. What would be the future? What are the challenges? What are the prospects? All this will be discussed throughout the day, right? And therefore, I did made a mention in the beginning that today you have to make your brain like a sponge and soak as much as expertise from the experts who would be sharing their inputs with you guys today, right? And this fintech is a culmination of two iconic and legendary institutions. The Amrendra Bahubali of banking, State Bank of India, and Mahendra Bahubali of education industry, St. Joseph's University. So when two Bahubalis are at work, you know, there's something very big that will be happening in today's session. So therefore, I thank State Bank of India officials for associating with us, and I look forward your cooperation. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir, for the crystal clear introduction. We eagerly look forward to Fintech Conclave today. Moving on to the most important part of today's inaugural ceremony, it's my pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Shri S. Radhakrishnan. He is presently working as General Manager in State Bank of India, Bengaluru, from June 2021. Earlier, he was the head of Thiruvananthapuram module in Kerala for 3 years. He has nearly 3 decades of experiences in several branches and offices of State Bank of India, including SBI Singapore and SBI New York. I now request Shri S. Radhakrishnan, our chief guest, to deliver the keynote address.
Respected Pro-Vice Chancellor Regina Mathias, Dr. Regina Mathias, Madam, Dean of School of Business, Dr. Krishno Selvan, Sir, my colleague, hello, Head of Commerce Department, Professor Amita Pridarshini, Head of Management Department, Professor Sarah John, Assistant Professor, Commerce Department, Professor Muhammad Umair, my colleague, Mr. Srinivas, who has been the leader of State Bank of India's officers community for more than 15 years. And the founders of fintechs, founders of startups, entrepreneurs, secretaries to the government, ministers, chief ministers, and prime ministers of future India, the students of this great institution. About 15 days back, I met Professor Kanishka and Professor Christo Selvan. I have not told, sir, I have missed your name, sorry. So now I am saying, so Professor Kanishka and Professor Christo Selvan I met in my boss office. It was, I just went to see my boss, and then these two professors were there. And immediately my boss said, here is your man, he will come and attend the inauguration. I am not there on stage. So inauguration, I said, okay sir, I will come and attend. So I thank the great university, St. Joseph University, for collaborating with State Bank of India and for inviting me. I also thank my CGM, Mr. Nandakishore, for deputing me here, and more importantly, for approving the sponsorship. So when Professor Kanishka and Dr. Christo Selvan, they told me to come and attend the inauguration, I was expecting to come here, of course, receive the plant or a bouquet, and then drink coffee, with the biscuit, and leave. This is what I was expecting, because we have not a big thing. I went to Chennai and I was coming back. Yesterday morning I came back. I just got down in KSR. I received a call from Professor Kanishka. I remember it, two callers said Kanishka, Professor Kanishka. I picked up and said, yes sir. Sir, you remember you have to come tomorrow for the meeting? He said, yeah, sure, no problem. No problem at all. Then I asked, I am a banker, so I'm always managing risk. So I asked him, sir, what do I have to do? It's because my expectation and professor expectation should match, right? Then professor said, no, yes sir, you have to make a speech. You will be doing the keynote address. Yeah. Oh. So then I told sir, I am in the KSR station. Can I call you after some time? So it was already tension there in KSR station. I am not able to find my driver. I have the luggage. Professor is adding to my tension there. Then sometime I called professor. And professor said, I will send you an email. Please read that email. So, after a couple of minutes, I'm sitting in the car and read the email, and this topic is significance of the impact of fintech on stakeholders. So first of all, I need to figure out who are the stakeholders. Right? I'm a practicing banker, more like the guy who gets things done, open account, and give loans. Now suddenly I have to speak, and in the bank also we speak. We speak all the time actually. We speak all the time with the customers. But we seldom speak in front of such brilliant people. One side, doctors and professors. The other side, as I told you, the ministers and future builders of this country. Now this is what I was having in the mind. What is the audience to whom I am going to speak? And the moment I thought that I have to speak to very brilliant students and their professors, I was really very nervous. Then I reached out to Srinivas sir, because he has been the leader of officers of the State Bank of India for more than a decade. And I told him, sir, this is not what I was expecting. So you help me. Then the executive time in the bank is pretty hectic. So I forgot all about this. Then evening about 7 o'clock, my secretary came with a bunch of papers, like running into some 50-60 pages of paper. He came and gave it to me. I said, I thought it is some note which I have to approve or reject or something. Then he said, sir, you have to read all these things. What is this? Sir, this is Srinivas has given, sir has given. You read this and tomorrow you have to speak. Now, this, so I tried to read it and half of it was going beyond my head. After about now 30 years, I had a similar experience about 30 years back. That is when I was studying. So I do not know, you guys are all brilliant guys. So when I used to study, I spent all my time living. But part of that student life is exams, right? It will come once in 6 months, it will come. As certain as the sun rises in the east, this is. So the previous night, I will figure out where the books are. I had roommates also, who are also like me. So we will all figure out the books and we will sit there and we will read it long hours. In between, Nitra Devi will come. So we have to go out and get some beverages. So you understand my predicament, how I am coming and standing in front of you. So now if I don't live up to your expectation, please bear with me. So I had some idea after reading this 60 page of notes Srinivas has given, and everything that was there in that notes was told by Professor Umair. So it really, so this speech is not certainly going to be 45 minutes. That much is sure. Right? So when we think about fintech is part of a larger phenomenon. That larger phenomenon is called startups, right? We have startups in different areas of the economy. We have startups in e-commerce. You can think of, even Amazon started as a startup, Flipkart started as a startup. They are no longer startups. They have become big giants. We have online gaming. In fact, I went to Bengaluru to attend a startup event, and I found that Bengaluru has companies, startups, which are having revenues more than 500 crores engaged in gaming. Then we have EdTechs, space techs. When I think about EdTech, I'm sure, I don't know, I can't say I am sure, but I presume that many of you would have used some or the other EdTechs. Because this is a college, which is dealing with commerce and management here. I really do not know whether you have to really struggle to get into this commerce and management. But there are people who study uh, engineering and doctors. And there are people who like to study that engineering and doctors. Not in engineering is available. You just, if you don't get admission in commerce, you can go and take engineering. It's as simple as that. But there are certain engineering colleges like, Indian Institute of Technology and all, where you need to prepare, I guess, soon after your birth. So they will start training. There are 8 tech companies which start training people for that. So you may have brothers, sisters or cousins who have dedicated their life to such 8 tech companies. Then we have space tech, we have fintechs. And when I studied, I know only one tech which is called high tech. But here now we have so many technologies. And when I say fintech, fintech is also not one tech. You have insure techs, you have invest techs, you have neobanks, you have payment techs, you have lending techs, and the list goes on and on. So, what is the reason for all this? What is the reason? Recently, I had an opportunity to listen to Mr. Mohandas Pai. It was a very enlightening speech. So, a lot of things he told, and some of that, is relevant for our topic also today. World has about 8 billion population. See, I will use numbers a little bit freely. So if you see that it's not exactly the number you are expecting, give 5%. 5% is plus or minus. If 5% plus or minus doesn't work out for you, give 20%. So, but you get the general idea. That's the purpose. Not here to give a statistics class. And certainly I am not your professor. Then, out of this, about 5.5 billion people are having mobile phones, unique mobile numbers. And again, 5 billion people are internet users. Out of that, about 4.7 billion are social media users. How many of you look at WhatsApp before going to the bathroom? All of us. That's how it happens. All of us. And I know there are some who take the phone also to the bathroom. Right? Social. No, you are using the time productively. India is also changing. Not only the world is changing, India is also changing. India is one of the fastest growing big economy in the world. In fact, most of the big economies in the world are not growing as fast as India. That's the same thing. I'm saying that in different ways. In 2014, India was 10th largest economy in the world. And today, we have 3.5 billion as the expected nominal GDP of the country, and we are considered to be 5th largest economy in the world. And when I say that 5th largest economy, I really don't like it. So some of us, what we say, you think of how much I can buy with the Indian rupee. I buy a Coke for 20 rupees, but the same Coke costs 80 rupees in US, right? So that means for 80 rupees I can buy 4 Cokes. Now using this analogy, that's called the purchasing power parity. If I use that analogy, I am the 3rd largest economy in the country. Great thing, right? You guys have made it. So, we are expecting this country will become 5 trillion economy. When is it going to become 5 trillion economy? Many projections are there. Some say it is 2025. I say it is 2028. Hello? Any difference of opinion? No, we will not have a difference of opinion. Why? Because this is what our chief economic advisor of State Bank of India told. So I presume that 2028 we will become 5 trillion economy and 2035 we will become 10 trillion economy. So what causes economic growth of nations? If you you are all very young people, right? So you may not know what was happening earlier. Till 1991, India was growing at a slower pace, and India was. But this history you must be knowing. I'm sure you know that. We were a centrally planned economy. We had 5-year plans, and we were trying to direct the economy from the center. And we used to have a growth of around 4%. And after some time, that is called Hindu rate of growth. Recently, you might have read the same thing when Professor Raghuram Rajan said about this. And from your experience, your expression, I figure out that not many of you actually read newspaper because it is available in the phone, right? You will read it in your mobile apps. So I said newspaper out of my own habit. So what causes this growth? US is growing. US is the largest economy. How did it become largest economy? What is the difference? The difference is US is a free market and the US promotes innovation. So any country that promotes innovation and allows free market is likely to grow better. And that is what we did after 1991. We did it in 1991 because we don't have any other choice. IMF actually told us that you have to do this. That is what is happening in Pakistan, right? Apart from terrorism. So, bomb making and all those things. So this is 1991 we had this economic reform and there is a government promoted innovation. So you know what is the innovation capital of this country? Excellent. What's your name, sir? Jairaj. Okay, Raj. Heiras. Great. So, Heiras is a person who has acted immediately, and all of us know the answer, but we let him tell that because we like Heiras. So, in our country, from 1991 to 2023, that's now, literacy rate increased from 50% to 78%. It means a lot of people are more literate now. And we have a very young population. India's median age is 28. China and UK are about 38. Sorry, China and US are about 38. UK is 40. Japan is 48. Yes or no? Turn to your left and see who is sitting next to you, and turn to your right and see who is next to you. Turn behind and see, and turn in the front. A couple of few handful of people who are elderly. Rest of all young population. So that is the case with India, and India's young population will grow. Not only young population will grow older, the number of young population will increase. The share of young population will increase. So because this young population, the ability to learn, the ability to do things, ability to join the workforce is very high in this country. And Bengaluru, because of it being the tech capital of this country, I told you it's the innovation capital of the country. It is also the startup capital of the country, and it is the tech capital of the country. We have very big software giants here. We are one of the largest software exporters in the world. In fact, during this Mohandas Paisar speech, he said, we export more software by value than Saudi Arabia exports oil. So we export 148 billion worth of software last year, and Saudi Arabia exported 145 billion worth of oil. So what's our oil? Software is India's oil. So all of you will be there in this, joining this Indian economy which is growing very fast. And what do we do? I told about the world and how it uses internet. In India, out of 140 crores of population, the statistics says that we have 90 crore of internet users, which I strongly doubt. I strongly doubt because I am yet to see any of those remaining 50 crore followers who don't use internet. Everywhere you go, as his professor said, that the beggar also has a QR code. So you pay through QR code. If you don't have change, no problem. And we have our cost of data is very low. Our cost of data in India, 1 GB data costs about 10 rupees, right? I don't know really exactly how much. 19 rupees. Whereas I spent 2 years in US. We have a branch in US also, in New York. A couple of branches are there. We have a subsidiary in New York, where internet cost is still very high. So we have one of the lowest cost of data. Because of that, all of us, there was a time when this mobile companies used to allow us lend and borrow data, share data among friends. And nowadays I don't know whether we are still doing that, but mostly all of us have the data available to us, and we are going to 4G, 5G and all. And we spend 7 hours on an average, Indians, on the internet. These are all statistics, I gleaned from the material Srinivas gave. And 2 hours in social media, 2 hours in audio streaming, Spotify, things like that. And 1 hour gaming. And whatever time remaining, when we are not sleeping, we do some work, I guess. That's how India is growing. We have the largest user base in YouTube among all the countries. We have 46 crore of users in YouTube. In fact, because of this speech, I learned a couple of things, sir, yesterday night. But I think our actual user level must be more than that. We are the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. We are also the third largest fintech ecosystem in the world. We call everything now ecosystem. It sounds very nice. We have about 96,000 startups in the country, and we expect this number to go to about 2 lakh startups by 2025. Our startups have raised in the last 8 years $136 billion US. That's huge money. And our startups have created value of more than $500 billion. We have 100 plus unicorns. You know unicorns? Which has one horn, it looks like a horse. We have all studied that. It came in Harry Potter, you have seen it also. The startup unicorn is a company which is valued more than $1 billion. If it is valued more than $1 billion, that's a unicorn. And suppose somebody is not $1 billion, but you think that he is going to become $1 billion, then what do you call him? We call those companies, we call those startups unicorns. This is soon they will become unicorns. That's our expectation. So they are called unicorns. These are all real terms. I am not inventing these terms and telling you. Right? The startups are there everywhere. I am from Tamil Nadu. I work earlier in IIT Madras as a branch manager. We have a branch inside IIT Madras. IIT Madras has a research park where they promote startups. So every state in the country has some kind of effort to promote startups. But we have the most number of active startups in this state, in Bengaluru. 67% of the startups are in 3 places only: Bengaluru, Mumbai and Delhi. You know, how did this happen? All these startups have come. Now, you know, earlier when I was completing the college, you have a chance of getting a bribe if you work in a, it's very high if you work in a government company. It's kind of okay if you work in companies like State Bank of India, public sector undertakings. And if you say I'm working for a private company, then people will be very suspicious what exactly you are doing. It was those days. But now the requirement is that we want the guys should be either in on-site in US or you should be working for a startup, right? So the guys have to really think about this. So you can work in startup, you need not be a computer engineer. And second thing I tell you, irrespective of what we study, most of us will work in computer industry. That's what it happens, whether you study MBBS, whether you study, if you are studying commerce, then you will be guiding the engineers to do what they have to do, because they don't know how to manage their finances, right? No, I am saying this is the truth that is happening. Many of the startups do not know how to they manage their finances. That is where you guys who are completing BBAs and BComs and MComs can help. So there is this important development that has happened in India, and I don't think that has happened by design, but it happened nevertheless, which professors also told while speaking. We have, you know, in 2010, Aadhaar came. 2010 means all of you would have been like 10 years or 5 years, something like that. Right. So I don't know whether you went to the queue to get your Aadhaar done. Right. It was like that because suddenly government said that you want gas connection. Your gas, you want the difference in amount between the market price and the subsidized rate will be given to you to your Aadhaar enabled account. One stroke. All of us wanted Aadhaar, whether I am a rich person, poor person, whether I am a millionaire, billionaire, whatever it is, I don't want to pay anything more for my cylinder. Even if I want to pay, I'm okay, my wife is not. So we all went for Aadhaar. We got Aadhaar, and you know, in fact, we were so worried that at that time, if I don't have Aadhaar, they may drive me out of India. The government did a massive exercise, and I don't think that a similar exercise was done anywhere in the world. And we were able to give Aadhaar number, an identity to practically all the citizens of the country. This was done for direct benefit transfer, and so government was able to plug lot of leakages. You guys understand, right, what I am speaking? Because you know, if you are going to ask for any explanation, if you really require any explanation, ask professor. In 2012, government came out with the eKYC. So before that, if a person has to open an account anywhere, you know, you want to get a mobile phone, then you have to give your driving license, your passport, so many things are there. Your PAN card, the agreement that you had with your landlord, and if you are living in your own house, then your own property document. All these things have to be given. But then, eKYC came, you put your finger, your KYC is done. Other data is given to the institution, so your name, your address, your photo, everything is validated. Then came UPI, all of us use UPI. GPay, how many of you use? PhonePe, so everybody uses, right? Not many. Okay, professor said, some of us don't have money. Then this demonetization happened. When the demonetization happened, we don't have money. You may have money in your bank account, but you don't have the currency, and that forced many of us, many of the countries, our citizens to use digital avenues. Paytm became a very big company during that time. Then GST came, Corona came. When Corona came, Arogya Setu app came, and whenever we got our vaccination done, we got a digital certificate with our Prime Minister's picture. Now that was, it is one of unique thing done in this country, because otherwise 100 crore population, how to give vaccination? And I am sure there will be some people who will go and take 3 times, 4 times, 5 times because they are worried. And 2021 came account aggregators. Now these things, the Aadhaar, one more thing I forgot to tell you. Government opened, Jan Dhan accounts. Every Indian citizen should have account. And public sector banks like State Bank of India played a very, very important role in that, and we have opened accounts for practically every household. Now government wants to open account for every person. So this Aadhaar, Jan Dhan accounts, eKYC, these are all called India Stack, UPI. These are called the India Stack. Fintechs are able to capitalize on this India Stack to provide a lot of services. Professor said he wanted to open a Demat account, it took him 7 days. And today the KYC is done online, video KYC is done online, accounts are opened online. All banks open, including State Bank of India. World-class products are provided by Fintechs building on this India Stack. Now Fintechs and banks collaborate. Fintechs are not only disruptor, of course Professor said Fintechs disrupt. Fintechs of course make us get up and look at things, but Fintechs also make us collaborate. All the banks in India have API to collaborate with Fintechs. We have the process to capitalize API banking to collaborate with all the Fintech companies. Because of this, we are able to enhance the financial inclusion. What is financial inclusion? When we say financial inclusion, people should have a way to save, right? They should have a way to save, they should have a way to insure, and they should have a way to transfer money, and they should also have a way of getting credit. These are the 4 things in financial inclusion. So, in case of saving, banks have played a major role through banks' own branches as well as the BC, CSPs, banking correspondents. Whereas, in case of lending credit, extending credit, and also by in the insurance front and remittances, credit, insurance, and remittances, Fintechs have taken a big lead. In fact, remittances now is done 90% through the apps like PhonePe, Google Pay, and all. Fintech has supported e-commerce. All of us use Amazon or Flipkart. How we are able to use? We are able to use because you are able to make the payment. So there are payment aggregators who are able to make the payment. Amazon itself is a payment aggregator through Amazon Pay. Because of that, we are able to improve our e-commerce and investing. Again, companies like Zerodha. Professor has listed out a lot of companies where investment is possible through fintechs. We have an app called, I don't know, is anybody have account with State Bank of India? Thank you. Thank you for patronizing State Bank of India. We have an app called Yono. The Yono app is integrating remittances, savings, investment, credit, everything together. You have the entire banking system in your pocket. Then we have this, the biggest problem we have in this, all these things is, people get defrauded. Because there is a term called cyber security where people get defrauded. What is the weakest link in this system? Not the banks. Bank systems are robust because banks spend hundreds of crores of rupees to strengthen the system. The biggest weakness is the users. People trust each other. Indians really trust everybody. So somebody calls and tells, please, your KYC is to be updated. Please go to this link, and people go and enter their credentials and they get defrauded. But by and large, the Indian banks system, the other side is pretty strong. But government is also doing a lot of things to improve the cyber security side. Government has a portal. There's a telephone number 1930. You can note down. If somebody tells you, your relatives calls you, what to do? Somebody has stolen money from my account. You call 1930 and tell this has happened. So all the banks in the country are linked. We will be able to freeze the account of the fraudster very quickly. And we work, all the banks work 24/7. 1930 is the number. 1947 you all remember. No? Right. So, the only problem I can see as far as fintechs are concerned is what Professor said about regulations. Fintechs thrive in places where there is lack of regulation. Many fintechs really struggled when Reserve Bank of India recently come out with guidelines on digital lending regulations. So right now, fintechs are not regulated, but banks are regulated. Banks are called regulated entities. You might have also studied. So banks and fintechs collaborate to create a very robust ecosystem. We in State Bank of India, being in this capital, we have opened a branch in Koramangala, specifically serving for startups. We have brought together the entire State Bank of India ecosystem, because ecosystem is a nice word, I told you earlier. So entire State Bank of India ecosystem is in available on, and it doesn't look like a State Bank of India branch. It looks more like a startup. If possible, I invite all of you, but not together, to the branch. It is in 80 feet road in Koramangala. You want to come? You visited. What's your name? Sriram. No, it's difficult because there is no mic on your side. So, Gagan, I am really happy that Gagan has visited the startup branch. I request all of you to go and see the startup branch. It will also give you an idea. And if at all you are if you have an idea to start a startup, we will certainly help you there also. I once again thank all of you for really listening to me so patiently. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. No event can be successful without thanking the people responsible for it. Like we always say, gratitude is mother of all virtues. I now request Professor Shushmita to render the oath of thanks.
On behalf of the management, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our Vice Chancellor, Reverend Dr. Victor Lobo SJ, our Registrar, Dr. Melvin, and our Pro-Chancellors, Dr. Ronald Mascarenas and Dr. Regina Matthias in absentia. I would like to thank our chief guest for the day, Shri S. Radhakrishnan, General Manager of State Bank of India, for sharing his valuable insights and knowledge with us. Your words have been an inspiration to us all and will certainly help us for all our future endeavors. Thank you, sir. Requesting Professor Mohammed Umair to felicitate our chief guest, Shri S. Radhakrishnan. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our guest of honor, Shri Alok Kumar, Deputy General Manager and Circle Development Officer of SBI, Bengaluru. Thank you, sir. Requesting Dr. Kanishka to felicitate Shri Alok Kumar. My sincere thanks to our Dean of School of Business, Dr. Christo Selvin, for always guiding and encouraging us to go beyond what is ordinary and excellence in everything that we do. Special thanks to our HODs, Ms. Amita Priyadarshini and Ms. Sarah John, without which their contributions and their guidance is commendable. My sincere thanks to our conveners of this event, Professor Mohammed Umair and Dr. Kanishka, for all their support and guidance. Thank you, professors. I would also like to thank our organizing committee headed by Dr. Priya and all the volunteers for their tireless efforts in planning and executing this event and making it a successful one. Their enthusiasm and commitment have been invaluable. My heartfelt thanks to all our faculty members and coordinators of the event for their tireless efforts and contributions. A special thanks to Jimmy Anna from the console for always supporting us. Last but not the least, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to all our lovely students for gracing us with your presence. Thank you and have a great learning experience.
Dear students, kindly sit down.